you're out there, you're riding, you're having a good time, and taking in the outdoors.
The fight isn't over. The fight is just beginning.
What's going on, guys? This is Carl, the RacerRed channel. I'm out here riding the DRZ400S, doing a little dual sport riding, which is mostly, well, pretty much all road. It's getting a little bit cold, so I'm gonna head back, but this is super laid back style riding. Decided to fly the drone in this canyon right here, got some pretty cool shots. Seats nice and wide and cushy, and the suspension is soft. Its road manners are really good. It's like super smooth, just has electric power, just very smooth. I'm actually listening to a podcast right now and it's really distracting. I thought maybe I could do a decent motovlog while listening to a podcast, but it is way harder than anticipated. My earbuds actually seal my ears, so I can't hear my voice hardly at all right now. Hopefully I'm not speaking like I'm deaf. But yeah, this kind of riding is a little bit slower than what I'm used to, for sure. I'm used to problem solving on the go, and just, you know, when you're on the trail, it's like I was saying in one of my last rides, it really activates a stress response. It's good for you physically because you're wearing yourself out. It's good for you mentally because you have to be sharp to keep from dying when you're on the trail. I mean, you're solving a lot of problems in real time that have real consequences. And also, it's good for you in the way that it puts you out into nature and it gets you fresh air, riding right into the sun, so hopefully you guys don't mind as much as I do anyway. This is a lot brighter for me than it is for you. I noticed that although you guys don't get the entire experience of rides like this, you can still somewhat get the experience, because I notice even when I'm watching other people's videos, I turn my head to like block the sun, or I kind of tilt to get under a tree, and I'm just sitting there in my living room or something. I think I think that effect affects all of us. It's something that we all do, and I think that even watching riding is actually a good thing for your brain as far as problem solving, because your brain is thinking that there's a tree coming up and you're ducking, and so I definitely think that your brain is running back some back processes that are good for you. It's problem solving even if you're just sitting back watching somebody else ride. And granted, it's a very 2D thing. I mean, you can't feel the brisk wind or the smells or vibration through the fingers. There's just, you know, the balance, the response that your body gets when you get a little off balance and you have to correct, especially when there's consequence. And those things happen to me all the time when I'm out on the trail, but as a rider, it affects me tremendously, and that's the major thing that doesn't get across through video, because there's no amount of video that can do that. You don't feel, I mean, there's no way I can portray the consequence or give anybody that feeling in a way, because you're not off balance. It's very evident when you're watching that that's not going to affect you, but there are certain things that still do bring you in far enough to where you are responding to them, like ducking under trees and that kind of thing. In a dual sport, really does take quite a bit to operate. I mean, compared to a car anyway. Let's see. Oh yeah, see, I'm down to 69. So my heart rate's 69 right now. Not as high as I thought it was. There's really not a lot I'm doing when I'm out on a street like this, but that's the cool thing about dual sport. You don't have to be on the street. You can jump right off and hit some single track or whatever you want. This bike is a really fun bike. I really enjoy riding this thing. I hopped on this right when it went on the market. It was in Boise. I drove over there and picked it up, but it only had something like 1,300 miles on it. I think now it has like 7,000 miles on it. And this is a 2006. That's all they wrote it in that amount of time. And it shows. I mean, the bike is like new. This is one of my favorite motorcycles of all time, though. I mean, I rarely own a bike twice, and this is one that I own twice. I had a DRZ400 Supermoto, which is a little bit different. It has inverted forks, bigger brakes, but for the most part, it's the same bike. A Supermoto is definitely one that looks a lot cooler than this one, but it operates a lot, it just performs a lot less in most situations. Unless you're just carving canyons, the Supermoto isn't much good. It really lowers your ground clearance, so you're smacking in the rocks, and also you're just not going to get that great of traction with those 17-inch rims and those big, I mean, it's a street bike tire. This bike is not a beautiful bike. It is a very utilitarian, purpose-built beast of a machine that is much like driving a tractor around. When I'm riding this bike, I just feel like it's a really fun bike, don't get me wrong, but it's like not a sexy bike that it's all stylish or anything like that. Everything on this bike is really for a purpose, and that purpose is definitely not looking good, so good luck with that if that's what you're into. It has served me really well so far, and I think this bike is just broken in at 7,000 miles. These bikes will go 100,000 miles pretty easily. I was just watching a video of one getting rebuilt at 80,000, and there was nothing really wrong with it, so that's pretty crazy. So for a single cylinder 400cc bike, that's pretty crazy. Anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed this episode. I will catch you on the next one. Peace.